Hey, 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 party people.
Party people. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to, or is this our first episode of 2019? Yes, our
Yes.
first episode for 2019 with these two girls. Yes. Hi.
Hey. Yeah, we
Hi.
know it's February. Okay, we don't even gotta go there.
Wha-
We're quite aware.
Yes, we are, but it's cool. Happy New Year, everyone. I know that January lasted forever,
Forever.
forever. And now here we are in February, and we're wishing you guys Happy New Year. But hey, take it or leave it.
Hmm.
It's cool.
I mean,
But
it is like a whole new year because January was just so long that it's like we're
January
starting
was fun.
over. Jeez.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. How was your January, Shy?
Um. I gotta do that. Like, I don't know if you're a That's So Raven fan back in the day. And whenever she's gonna lie, she has a squeaky voice. No, you don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean I watched it, but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was
Only,
okay.
only, only the cool people watch that story then. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So it
it
was.
was okay.
It was okay. You know, it was great. Uh,
I don't believe it, but
yeah.
gotcha.
Listen, you know what? I'm gonna keep it real. I am having a rough time, but and you know why I'm gonna keep it real? Because the thing about it is you can't pretend like everything is okay all the time because
True.
you're only gonna implode if you do that. Okay. So the truth is, I am having a rough time. But I
Mm,
have also chosen to not let my rough time and my circumstances stop me in my tracks like they usually do. You know?
right,
So
right.
that's what's been going on with me. January has been a struggle, and February is not turning any corners to anything better so far. So we just keep trucking.
Mm,
Um, I did do though. I had 3 weeks of a psych rotation. Well, it was more than that, but the first half of it, I actually hated the people I was with. But the second half, I was inpatient psych, like in the hospital. Man, that was interesting. Like, I didn't even think about that when we were prepping because let me tell you, black people are like the majority of the people in this psych hospital or on this
wow.
psych floor. And they
Wow.
don't hold like house that many people. Like it's like a 18 capacity, 18 bed capacity, but like on every any given morning, the census is majority black.
Wow.
And
That's not what they show on TV though. It's always, the Caucasian that you see in the psych ward.
I mean, it's possible that it could be demographics. I'm in Atlanta, so
Okay, okay, right, right.
it's possible it could be demographics, but it still was just very disheartening. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, you are. I'm just gonna say this while we record. Your sound is getting bad. You need to adjust whatever you just did, and come
Oh, it's
back to
getting
us.
okay.
Come back to us.
How is this? Is this
That's
any better?
yes, that's better.
Okay. Oh
So
wow.
yes,
My bad, my bad, my bad.
but yeah. So yeah, it was very interesting, and we can get into that in a whole. Like, I could really get into that in a whole other episode, but like,
Okay.
it was definitely interesting to see people who were schizophrenic, bipolar, like literally hallucinating in front of you,
Oh
or
wow.
talking to you in such acute psychosis that it's like you don't even know what's real when they're talking to you, and then finding out later that some of what they're saying is real. And you're like, what? Anyway, that's, yeah. So that was definitely an interesting part of my January. and I have been studying for a big board exam I have next week.
Okay.
And, I'm living here. I haven't really been exploring too much, but, I've been in Atlanta before. It's not that big a deal.
Okay. Have you met anybody? Any, not, and I don't mean like boyfriend or nothing, but I mean like
Um,
friends or associates or
I haven't met anybody
connections.
new. I had friends already in Atlanta that I just kind of reconnected with, and some other students that kind of moved as well at the same time, or were here,
Okay.
that kind of stuff, but not like nothing new.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it's been an interesting start to the month, but it's not just anything with you. What's happening on your end?
Um, well, January was great. January for me was a good month. I think it was a great start for the year for me. Um, and all my projects were done and were good, and I went on my little solo trip to New York, and that was a great experience. I had so much fun. I feel like solo travel is just where it's at right now. It's there's such peace to it. So I really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, January was good. I feel like now that we've gotten into February, things have kind of shifted a bit. Um, yeah, but one of my things on my vision board was to stand firm.
Mm-hmm.
So that same God that took me through January, took me through 2018, us, I really just want to just stand firm in just believing that this too shall pass. It'll be all right. It'll be
Mm-hmm.
all right. It'll be all right. So I'm trying. I don't want to get too much in my feelings this year. Like I don't want to do a lot of crying. I don't want to curl
Exactly.
up
That's
in my
exactly what I was
bed.
thinking.
Right. I did a lot of that last year. I
Me
don't want to
too.
spend my whole time sleeping everything off. Like, I feel like I slept off my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time I got something happen or I was upset or sad, I would just get home, take a shower, curl in my bed, and sleep it off. Like, or eat it off. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to do that this time. So, yeah, I'm there with you, Shy. I
No,
really want
same
to
for
approach this
real.
differently.
And you
So.
know what I'm noticing now with taking this new approach that I have been actively trying to do this for like the last 2-3 weeks since whatever initial thing happened with me. It was like, okay, I had to make a choice not to come home, get in my bed and cry and waste the rest of my
Mhm.
day. That was one. The second thing I had to definitely make a choice was to not go to some fast food restaurant and buy food and binge eat my feelings away because I'm
That's
back in keto and I don't want to like
right.
undo it, right? And then the third thing was like rechanneling that energy. And that is the hardest part because, okay, for a moment you can rechannel and be busy, but then when you sit down, it's almost like overwhelming. And that is the part that I am having trouble with is like, how can I release this energy without the crying
Right.
and the sadness? And that part is where I'm like, literally today I was like, it's coming. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta figure this out. I went to the gym. That
Uh,
helped somewhat, but it didn't. I came home. I'm like, ugh, whatever. Now I'm talking to you, and I'm like, literally
right.
pushing my mood into gear to keep. Like it's just weird. It's like, how do you do that when all you want to do is revert to the old habits?
That is so true. Funny enough, me sitting here talking to you, like I literally have a cup of McFlurry in front of me, and I cannot tell you the last time I had a McFlurry. I probably had a one like last year summer or something. But I didn't even, and the funny thing is, you're so used to doing something a certain way. Even in here, even with telling you about standing firm, I didn't even realize that I was so much in my feelings that that I'm actually doing just what I said I didn't want to do. It's become such a habit that, girl,
And
look,
then
look,
and
look
that's
at,
okay, because we're not gonna be perfect, right? It's only
yeah, that's
February.
true.
It's a work
Right.
in progress, and like at this point too, like I have a test tomorrow morning. I'm like I can't implode tonight. Like I
Mhm.
gotta keep it going at least till next week Wednesday. Like you
Right.
know,
Yeah. No, we need you to do well on that test. So,
so it's just like, but that's just something that it's like maybe that's where therapy comes in, because then a therapist would be better able to tell you where to channel your energy into and how to rechannel your thoughts into something more productive.
right.
Or if maybe you just need to cry, or like and then control your level of crying. Like, don't be crying in bed and sleep. Pull it out of cry in the shower and get out and like
And be
keep
done, right?
going.
And just
Yeah,
not right, right?
or
Like,
something. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying. It's just
yeah.
interesting. But anyway, enough of all of that emotional stuff.
Yeah, right. But y'all, it's real out here in these streets, and we're just sharing that little part with you. So I know social media tends to fool some of you guys sometimes, but it's not
Hmm.
all peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
We're just trying to approach it differently
That's
this
why
time.
that one guy who does those dancing videos with the words flashing off his booty, and they're like saying like positive, encouraging stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, that was his point, is that social media can is so much negative there, and then it can make you feel like people are doing so much better than you. And
Right.
so
That
that
is
was
so
his point
true.
in doing that, is like to promote like positive energy to everyone, like whatever. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
but just like all these things are happening to us, there's been so much going on since
To
the
other
year
people, right?
started.
There's
Yeah.
listen, I felt like we had a overload of things happening in
Oh
January.
my
Like
gosh. I
an
was over it.
overload.
By like day 5, it was already lit with that R. Kelly docuseries. But I don't
Oh,
even want to talk
Jesus.
about that first. Like,
We don't need to, because you about to we about to get into a whole, yeah, we're not even going to it.
but
Yeah, go
first,
ahead.
the year
Go ahead.
started out with the government shutdown, right? And you always hear about government shutdown, but people don't realize. I don't think it was until it went on this long that people really
Right,
realized what the actual effects of a government shutdown is, right? I
right.
had a friend, and she had just gotten a job with a government, branch or whatever in her field, and had worked a handful of days before the shutdown happened. And so now she literally was just sitting there waiting, waiting. Eventually, she went and got a new job. Good thing for
Wow.
her, like she's qualified with the degrees and stuff to go do that. But like
Mhm.
other people who were literally working, paycheck to paycheck, because government jobs, regular government jobs don't pay, a lot of money.
No, no.
Depending on what level you're at, you are living paycheck to paycheck. The majority of the people are, and or at that point have gone through the little savings that they had, to make bills for a whole month and other things that might have come up, and it was just Christmas.
Right, and trying to bounce back from Christmas, and
Right.
yeah. I met when I got back from New York, and it was while I was in New York. Yeah, my Uber driver, it was actually in New York, my Uber driver. Shout out to him. We had such a dope conversation. But he was also a government employee that had to start doing Uber because he needed to make some extra money, and he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
getting any money. And he was just he never thought that he'd be having to do, you know, um Uber. Um, but he had to do that because he has kids, and
Right.
like his daughter, I think he said his daughter was a senior and she has like a
Oh
whole lot of
God, of
prom
course.
stuff coming up. And she wants a dress and have to pay for different things. And yeah, and he definitely needed more money. So he went and he started doing that. He says that he actually says it's going pretty good for him actually. Because he didn't know people were making this much money from Uber.
Oh yeah, you
Um,
can make money for real.
yeah. So he said that was surprising. But yeah, he said that that's what he had to go and do during the shutdown is get another little job.
Hmm.
So
Well,
it definitely changed some things with some people, man.
well, it's over now, and
Hmm.
then the president comes and does a whole State of the Union to make it seem like everything is all fine and dandy, and I'm
Did you
just
do the
like
clap? Did you do the clap?
the the Nancy Pelosi
Oh,
clap.
Pelosi clap.
She
Uh,
is something else.
She
But
is something else. I love it though.
the
It's like
thing is, there's a potential that it could get shut down again,
right.
like in the next week or two, right? And that just doesn't make any sense. But you know, we came to America because it's supposed to be better.
They picked us up and we all came here, man, and
Mhm.
here we are.
Here
But
we are.
do you hear that the amount of people that announced that they're running for running for presidency? Like it's a lot of people, like a lot of
No, I didn't hear
I
that.
think when I think when I was listening to the Breakfast Club, I think I heard like Charlamagne was saying like 250 people right now.
Stop.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yo, I'm not surprised though because I knew that after Trump made it and everything, like everybody feels they have a shot
Well,
now.
yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, everybody feels like they have a shot. Yo, Shine, you should run, son.
We can't run,
I
but
the mistake. Everybody has a shot, man. Who knows? I know we can't, but I'm just saying. But yeah, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. A lot of people.
I
So
mean, there's a lot of
yeah,
people qualified. What do you have to do? You have to be an American-born citizen and over 40 years old.
all right.
Yeah, I think those are the two requirements.
I think I missed the age one.
Yeah, you have to be 40.
I definitely knew about the citizenship one, but the
I mean,
age
at
one.
least I remember that from high school. That's like the only thing.
And yeah, I don't yeah, you're probably right though about the age part though. You're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Probably right. So
It's either 40 or 45. I don't know. It's somewhere in the 40s though.
we just don't we not running. So
We not qualified.
we
So
not we
on two accounts. So
not. It's all good. It's all good.
yeah.
Not that we wanted to be president.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
So
I mean, I could be somebody's president's wife or something.
I don't want to be somebody president's wife.
I'm just saying I wouldn't turn it down. I'm not gonna go. I'm not seeking to be that. I just wouldn't turn it down.
No, not if you're gonna try to put me in a box like they tried to do with Michelle the whole time. They had an issue with her clothes. They had an issue with her armpits. They had an issue with.
Yeah,
All right, not if you're gonna try to put me in a little
they're
first
gonna just
lady
have to
box.
have issue. That's all.
Shoot, they don't. I don't want that smoke. Okay, I don't want it. It's
You
kind of
gotta
like
bring your own smoke.
Can you even imagine a first lady like a church first lady? Bro, I don't want that. I don't want that smoke.
Not an option. No, thank you.
Oh, but you'll turn that one down, huh?
Yes, yes, yes. 100 times. What? No, I'm good, love.
Anyway.
What else happened? More recently, before I'll skip to this one. So the Super Bowl was on Sunday. It was in Atlanta. Well,
Mhm.
the other Sunday, and I first of all I stayed far away from downtown Atlanta. It's already
Okay.
mad traffic in Atlanta on a regular day, but I just was not here for all the mess, and I did not want to be sitting on anybody's highway for hours. So anyway, I wasn't planning to watch the Super Bowl. You know, hashtag
Is the boycott over?
no, hashtag I'm with Cap, and you know,
Y'all black people are hilarious. I can't with y'all.
it's not, everybody wasn't boycotting like they should. It's only honestly a few people who, not few, but in terms of when you think of the grand scale of black people, it was only a few people who actually stuck to this. Personally, I never watched football like that anyway. So it was not
Okay.
hard for me to boycott the NFL. Easy peasy. Like good. I don't watch football on Sunday, Monday, and Thursdays. No problem. But I got invited by some friends over for a quote unquote Super Bowl party, and I went because I hadn't seen one of my friends in a while, and I was like, let me just go over there for the social aspect of it. And it wasn't a lot of people; it was just four of us just eating and talking and stuff. But while I was there, and I really wasn't paying attention to the game, but while I was there, the halftime show came on. So, I turned to pay my attention to see who was performing, what was going on. I hadn't even known who was performing. So it was Maroon 5. And let me tell you about how trash this halftime show was, okay? No
Wow.
disrespect to Maroon 5. I like Adam Levine. I don't even know who the rest of Maroon 5 is. All I'm saying is whoever put the show together, like what was supposed to happen, I have so many questions. Because first of all, I heard afterwards that when we started they were like, oh, Travis Scott's supposed to perform, Big Boy's supposed to perform. So I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be like three separate performances. Well, no. Okay, in the middle of one song, she will be loved or something, here comes I think first it was like Travis Scott comes out of the sky, first of all, in some like ball of fire situation.
Wow.
Like really big grand entrance, like he was the main performer. And then he does like Sicko Mode, that song.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
first of all, they play the whole first part that it's just like Drake's verse, right? And then he starts rapping, screaming crazy on the stage, and then he goes off. And then Maroon 5 goes back to some, love song, slow. And then two songs later, here comes Big Boy and the guy who sings the hook. I like the way you move.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what is happening? Like it wasn't cohesive. Like it just did not fit. It's like they just dropped in two black people in there just to say, oh, look, we
We
still
like
got
black
we
people.
still got some black people that's not boycotting. Okay.
Right. Right. Right.
Because all those people that turned down performing, and so I was just like, y'all tried too hard. It did tried too hard. Like it's just you should have just left it at Maroon 5 and let it go. And
Oh,
and then
I didn't see it, so I have no idea. I just heard a couple people say that Avril Lavigne's body looks good, but other than that,
Avril Lavigne, she was there.
I mean, Adam,
Oh,
sorry.
Adam. I was like,
Wow.
wait, what?
Wow. Avril Lavigne's body look. Oh my God, that is so embarrassing. Anyways, Adam, yes.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, he always looked good, but that was boring. And then I feel like the whole Super Bowl game itself seemed boring. Like that score, like, was ridiculous.
Mm, I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm not. I mean, I'm not here or there. I'm still, I'm just like, you know, thought we were still, thought we were still boycotting. I didn't know we were still Super Bowl.
no, yeah, we're still boycotting, but
No,
people,
we're not, because clearly for you to have the Super Bowl in freaking Atlanta and black Wakanda, and everybody still was out there in rolling deep. I mean, like deep, deep, according to the news. I mean, clearly.
Well, you have to think about it in another way too, right? Because we still have majority black players as NFL players, right? Not maybe is it
Mm-hmm.
majority? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
A great number. So there are people who, like, I saw some friends of mine on Instagram who went to the Super Bowl because they
Mm-hmm.
were supporting actual friends who were playing, you
Mm.
know. And then there are really just people who just didn't really commit to the cause, honestly. Like I said, I don't
Mm-hmm.
watch football, so it didn't really matter to me, but I definitely think we should officially boycott. Like, definitely. It would make an impact, but at what, at the expense of some of our black brothers that are playing, you know. I don't
It's
know
a
what
sticky
move they
situation.
could make,
Sticky
but,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, well,
Mm.
I mean, the whole thing with it being in Atlanta, of course, it's like they planned that like years ahead. So, like where it's gonna be, like from like the year or two before. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Next
whatever.
thing that happened. Let's see here. Okay, I'll give you a choice. Which one you want to do first? I have two more. Do you have more? No.
Which one?
I'm saying, do you have other things on your list? Because I have two things, and I'm gonna give you the choice. Which one you want to go first?
I mean, I have one on my list.
What is that?
Um, Soldier Boy.
Okay, so that was it. I was gonna say Soldier Boy or R. Kelly. Which one first?
Oh God, let's do Soldier Boy.
Okay, so Soldier Boy. I don't know if you guys caught the interview. You probably didn't, but it's on the Breakfast Club. He went to the Breakfast Club, and
I watched the
um,
Breakfast Club one.
yeah, that's the only one I watched. I didn't watch the other things because that's
Oh
all I
yeah,
needed to see to diagnose him with a manic episode. Um, I was
but
definitely.
but he was talking some stuff though. He
Yeah,
was
yes. He was talking some.
it wasn't all crazy.
It's not crazy. Okay, I'm not saying the things he was saying was crazy. I'm saying he was in
No,
a.
some stuff was crazy. How dare you? You did hear what he said about Drake and those other folks? Like some of the stuff he was saying was crazy.
Okay, the stuff about Drake, the thing that he said is true, but
What?
the context that he's saying it
What did
in,
he say? What did he say about Drake? Repeat it for me, just so
he's
we're on
saying
the
that
same page.
Drake stole his line, the song, the opening of the
Drake,
song.
and
That's
then
what
he
I'm
taught
talking
Drake
about.
everything. And he said that he taught Drake everything that he knows.
That's what I'm saying. So the part that he's saying about the song is true. The context that he's saying, oh, because of that, it means he taught Drake everything he knew. That is like crazy. That part is like above the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think back to that time of music, everybody was, and even still to this day, but not even as often, but back then, everybody was like, you know, chomping little lines out of other songs and throwing it into their song. You know what I mean?
So what did he take from Soldier Boy now?
When he said the first part, tell me what's really going on. Yeah,
Okay.
that kind of flow is in another Soldier Boy song, which I still can't remember. But it's not one of the big Soldier Boy songs. It's not Crank That. It's not Kiss Me Through the Phone. It's not like how Charlemagne was. It's not that song. It's a different song. But that part is true. But that doesn't mean anything because everybody was doing that, right? And even when he said, "Oh, Beyonce did," she did it. Yeah, she did that.
She did what?
She part of her song. She was like, "And I look in the mirror, say what's up, what's up." Like that's
Oh,
from Soldier Boy song, right? But that
right.
doesn't mean he taught Beyonce everything she. You know what I mean? Like he's just like his thought process. And I'm talking real psych right now because I just finished psych, and it's really I'm taking a test tomorrow. But his thought process, right, is not logical, right? Like, yeah, the things that he's saying are there's facts in them, but he's built on these facts, something in his head. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that, but that was just interesting to watch him. And it's like, he was clearly high, but
Yes, definitely.
people who are high, people who are not high, people who are prone to be psychotic should not smoke weed. That is the only thing in now my years of study that I can say is the contraindication to smoking weed. Like, you
Right.
should not smoke weed if you're prone for psychotic episodes. And that's for sure what was happening with him. he,
And they even said that, I mean, Dr. Shy, but they even said that even weed triggers even certain things that may be underlying that you never really knew was there until
right.
you
And
do
that's the
this and then boom.
that's the tricky part, is that you wouldn't know that you're prone to, you have some predisposition to being psychotic, right?
Right.
You wouldn't know. And you smoke weed, and or a couple and it probably won't happen the first time you smoke weed, but
Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
And then you have an episode of something, and basically that's just like, okay, once you are diagnosed with something, you shouldn't smoke weed again. Like, you just should avoid it, because it's definitely going to bring it out of you every time after
But
that.
but do you think so? Questions. Do you think that it's possible that okay, so there was an underlining thing, issue, whatever, and now you've smoked the weed. Is it possible that you could have turned on something that you can't necessarily now turn off?
Um, it's possible that you could turn something on. I don't think it necessarily means you can't turn it off, because
Because you're
that's
saying that like it's going to come alive every time you smoke, but what if no, you don't even have to know
no,
have the
because,
weed in
well, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's possible that that's the case, but most people, once, if you're stable on treatment, then you don't have a problem. But most
Okay.
people don't stay stable; they continue to smoke weed, and then, so it's not impossible to turn it off.
Mhm.
But also, it's also probably you just sped up the inevitable for some people.
Mhm. Mhm.
It just, I don't know. I have very mixed feelings now also about mental illnesses, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes,
But
yes, yes. You said yes. That's
but but no, but not even just about the black people thing, but just in general. Like, I'm not even gonna touch on it because I'm gonna sound crazy, but I really do have these thoughts.
well. Tell me off the phone because I want to know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. But anyway,
Something
Soldier
else.
Boy
I
was
had another
funny.
question with
Mm-hmm.
that though. What is lean? So I keep hearing in these hip hop
Lean.
songs and stuff, especially what that ugly boy name? That ugly one from here from South Florida. That
So, Kodak.
Kodak Black.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That ugly boy. He
Lean.
keeps talking about lean. They keep singing about this lean. Even in Meat Mills, they keep talking about this lean. What is lean?
Lean is prescription grade cough syrup with soda. And by
Um,
prescription grade cough syrup, I mean something that has codeine in it, which is um, let's see, a narcotic of, yeah. Which, yeah, so
um,
you can't just buy these types of cough syrups over the counter. You have to have a prescription for this cough syrup. And then so you make lean by mixing the cough syrup that contains codeine, which is like an opiate drug. And most times they make it with like grape soda. They call it like purple drink, scissor.
um,
This has been around forever.
oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, yeah, they would always mention lean in their songs and stuff. I hear it a lot on the
yeah, because
radio.
it has like sedative effects. Like, it'll make you, kind of like, sleepy, whatever, euphoric. But then, you do that and you're also smoking weed and, you're mixing lots of drugs. So you're getting like a up and down situation. And,
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Soldier Boy. I mean, I heard him on this along with the Breakfast Club. I heard him on the second interview. I don't remember the name of that show, but it's with the girl and the two guys, and he was just as erratic on that show,
mm-hmm.
but he had some interesting things to say, on that episode, um so I think if when Soldier Boy is calm and off whatever it is that he's on, I would love to hear him try that interview again or another interview, and make his points and
Interesting,
everything.
like what? Like, give me one example.
um well, he was talking about his game,
Mm-hmm.
and the he was just talking about the different things that he has going on, and I guess the girl on the interview was mentioning, she said, why do you have so many businesses?
Mm-hmm.
And he replied to her saying, why not? And then he went into talking about like he used to be broke, he used to be poor, and he never wants to go back to that again. And we as a people should have tried to go for as much money as we can. We should have all the money, and I guess that's just what he was saying. But that point
Mm-hmm.
stuck with me because she questioned him, like why, making it seem like he was silly for wanting to go after all that and more. And I don't know, I kind of felt that, I kind of felt that. So, and then when he replied to her, I felt that too. So, I think
Well,
that stood out to
ow.
me.
Sorry. You ever got a paper
Um,
cut and you know it's gonna hurt?
Okay.
I just like sliced my finger with this page. Anyway, God, it's gonna hurt tomorrow. Like, trust me, it's gonna be
Please
painful.
don't let it affect your studying. Thank you.
Anyway, yes, what he said is a good point, right? It's
Mhm.
definitely a good point, but for me also, it's definitely a symptom of his problem. Because one of the things that you look for in people who are bipolar
Mhm.
is that when they're manic, they have all these ideas. They think they're invincible. They think that they have all these great business venture ideas. They have
Mhm.
all these plans. They're doing like a million things at a time. They go without sleep, and it's that.
You don't want to see me on whatever he's on.
So,
You don't want to put me on that.
but the thing
Straight up
is,
then.
then they go from mania to depression at another time. And the only difference between Soldier Boy and people like Kanye and regular people is that they have the means to put these crazy ideas into place, right?
Right.
And
That's true.
so not that there's anything wrong with the ideas, and not that people who are regular financial status people that have these ideas in their mania are maybe wouldn't be able to, there isn't any point to their thoughts or their ideas. It's just
Mhm.
that it starts to affect your functioning, and then it's like, look at him now, he's the spectacle in the news. Like, that's not
Mhm.
gonna be good for business, right?
Right. True.
So
That's
that's
definitely
where it
true.
becomes a problem, because he's not
Right.
stable enough to make one thing work at a time, at least, or whatever. So I feel like,
So, which
that's
is
where.
why I'm saying I would love to see him
Mm-hmm.
off whatever he's on and sit down and have another interview where he can share his ideas and his thoughts, what he really means, what he's trying to say. Because like I said, I felt like in there somewhere, like there were things that he would say that, you're like, okay, but then he would say another thing that would totally dismiss what, he said that
Right.
made
Mm-hmm.
sense, So I don't know. I hope he figures that out and get some help, because even like who was it that sat on with the interview that was supposed to be a good interview? Orlando from or Raven.
Oh
You
God.
know, he sat down with Dr. Phil, and that was supposed to be um a interview to reveal and and everything, but it still came across as crazy.
When
So I
did
don't
he
know if
sit
he was
down with
still
Dr. Phil?
unseating. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I think I probably watched it like late December
Oh
or
wow.
something. But he's sitting on and he has on his, he's dressed nicely and everything. And the thing though, he doesn't look like he didn't look like he was on something, but it did look like he was coming off
Mm.
something. So his interview still sounded off. You know what I'm saying? Um, it wasn't fully out of his system. Um,
But that's what I'm
but
saying. It's
I
not
could tell.
necessarily drugs. It could just be a psychotic period of his life.
No, he really looks bad. And it I don't know. I don't know what's his obsession with Raven. I don't know if that's what triggered him to get into all this, but he is completely obsessed with this girl. Like he's obsessed with her.
I mean, maybe she did something to him.
See, didn't we talk about this in some episode where girls out here breaking hearts and have these guys going crazy?
Yeah,
Listen,
but then
whatever.
this guy was clearly prone to having some kind of mental illness, and that just broke him at that point, and set
He
him off.
clearly did. I think so because he has a weird obsession with her. He's talking about how they're going to get married, and please don't. And Miriam has already gone over to the other side, so she's not even interested. She's like not even strictly dickly. So I don't know what plans he has, but he's still talking about they're going to get together.
Yeah, he's delusional.
Delusional, yes, but that's a good point that she made. Though, I wonder what she did to him for him to be so, yeah, obsessed with this one girl.
Or maybe she didn't do anything, but maybe he liked her, and then she probably turned him down because maybe she already knew she was gay from back then, and you know that kind of
That
just ruined him.
oh boy, girls, y'all, please don't have these guys out here drinking
Man, don't
lean.
put that on
And
us. That's their problem. Okay, nobody comes for us when we over here crying. Like, nah, that's
hey,
good. You
guys,
good?
guys, guys, please don't have these girls out here drinking lean and smoking weed. Okay, don't have it happening. But anyways, so there we go. Soldier Boy, done. Boom.
Oh
And
boy.
last but not least, are we really gonna go on this one? I don't really want to go on this one. Like it's
No, it
just
has to come out. I need to get it out. It just needs to
okay.
get done. Okay, we're not gonna. It's not the whole episode. But listen, so
Okay.
if y'all haven't watched this R. Kelly docu series, Surviving R. Kelly, let me tell y'all. I had kind of just heard about it coming out, and then I was just sitting here and saw all these, Instagram posts, and I went, caught it like second day, and I was hooked. Okay, I watched all 6 episodes in no particular order, and I was shocked and disgusted. Honestly, I did not know even the very even the very like well known information. I honestly didn't know. I'd never heard some of these things before. I didn't even realize that when the case took place, when R. Kelly was in court for the video, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I didn't realize that I was old enough to realize what that was.
Right?
I didn't. It
Oh my
never.
god.
It wasn't on my radar. This man was in. So the whole thing went down like, I don't know, in 2000. What was it like? He got arrested initially. What, like 2005 maybe, 4? No, way before that. It was like, man, I'm forgetting the facts now. But the point is, he was already
You were
arrested.
old. Yeah.
And then like Ignition came out, remixed to Ignition, whatever,
Right.
and I was jamming to that like anyone else. But at that point, I was too young to really know what was going on. When the case actually happened, because it took 6 years for them to take him to finally have the trial. I didn't even realize what was going on. I cannot remember knowing that R. Kelly was on trial.
I remember, and I remember that though. Like I wasn't paying attention, but I remember when he was going to court. I remember when Ignition came on because I remember that I was on the step team in high school. And we did the dance to that. We danced to that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even remember the moves with our raunchy selves. Um, like I remember the P video.
I
Because
remember
I see.
hearing about it later on, but I never actually seen it.
Yeah, I never. Yeah, but I feel like I remember. I definitely remember the boys were talking about it. Don't know where they saw it or how they saw it or what because we didn't have cell phones like that. With everything right at our fingertips. But I definitely remember that it was people were talking about it, but we dismissed everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was we just moved on. Like it was no big deal. Like we were still on every song that came out after that
Yeah.
and what was going on. R. Kelly was still.
We're still stepping in the name of love. Like,
we
still.
were, we were, we were. That is so crazy.
But
And the thing
here's,
is, I couldn't watch the whole thing though. I started Honestly Shy, and I could not watch the whole thing
I
because I
think you need to
felt
at least watch the last two episodes. Or at
the
least the
last
last
two.
one. Because here is what really got me, okay?
Hmm.
Let's run down the whole thing. Okay, they talk about how he was molested as a child.
Hmm.
Okay, I hear you. And
Hmm.
I understand where that would lead to um, problems in your adult life, because people
Hmm.
could take two different paths. Okay, I hear you. Then there's the Aaliyah thing, where he married Aaliyah when she was like 16, falsified documents, and married her. So, and then the people saw him having sex with her. She wasn't even 18 yet. Okay?
Right.
All right, that happened. Okay, you're telling us all these things in the past. Okay, all these girls that are coming out and they're saying how they were in the house and all these things happened how many years ago. What got me for real, like I actually had tears, was seeing that there are still parents out here trying to find their daughter as of
Right.
December 2018 that still have not seen their daughter in years. Now, mind you, their daughters are now over 18. Okay?
Yep.
One girl from Florida, her parents were trying their best. I mean, you can criticize the parents all you want. I'm not here to do that. I feel
Hmm.
like they tried their best. Knowing the information they knew, they probably really should have just avoided that altogether. But okay,
Hmm.
they let their daughter, be around him because he was supposed to help her with her music career. And they were always present, tried to be present, whatever. But the moment she turned 18, she stopped answering their calls. There's nothing they
Hmm.
can do about that. But at this point, as parents, you haven't heard from your now 21-year-old daughter in 2 to 3 years. Like, that has to hurt. Like, and not for no beef between y'all or nothing. Like, she's just brainwashed and disappear and God knows where. That's the part. Like, and then they showed the mother, the one from Florida. They're in Chicago and they're outside this building, look like a warehouse, but is known that R. Kelly be keeping people there. Throwing rocks at a window, screaming at her daughter to just come out. That broke my heart. And this just happened last year. And like, even one of the girls that her mother on the show like went and rescued her from this hotel. This one of the girls, he actually turned this girl into a boy. Like, he made her cut her hair off, She looks like
A
a boy.
boy.
Yeah, she looks like a quote unquote dyke. Like she looks like a boy, but she's a girl.
Hmm.
And she cut her hair off. She's wearing wife beaters and basketball shorts, and she's up there
What?
too. And her mother rescued her literally like last year, or if not 2017. And what they showed on the documentary of the mom taking her, they later said, like in the ending parts, like when they're summarizing what happened to who, that she went back. She went back,
She's
and
been brainwashed.
she went back
Wow.
and then left again, but like, yeah, completely brainwashed. And like, my problem with R. Kelly is not all the stuff he's done in his past. Yeah, those are all problematic. My problem is this the things he continues to do. And he has clearly, I don't know what psychotic disorder, what personality disorder to call him. Like we need to come up with a whole new disease and mental illness for him because he is narcissistic, okay? He's borderline personality. He's antisocial. He has no regard for society, no regard for the law. Like and he literally like strategically brainwashes these girls. Like all of them tell the same story about how in the beginning he's so nice. It's just
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
You're the center of attention, and then then he starts making you. He makes them call him daddy, you know, when they having sex. Then he makes them call him daddy all the time, and then he tells them what to wear, and you just feel like, oh, he's buying me all these clothes. Like, oh yeah, and
But
then next thing you know, he slaps you across the face, and you, and then you're wondering what did you do wrong, and then he opens up to you and tells you that he just felt really triggered by, he thought you loved him, and when you did that, it made him feel unloved, and all these things happened to him as a kid, and
right,
now
right,
you feel
right.
like
Oh
and
gosh.
all of them tell the same story.
You know what trips me too about the whole thing too? I mean, you mentioned the parents and them not being able to see their child, But my thing is, R. Kelly had like a crew. Like he had all of these people. I mean, let me tell you, if R. Kelly goes down, if he does, all of those other people need to go down with him
They
because
want some
they
of
would.
them need to go down now that are on the documentary talking.
Right, right. Like they allowed this to happen. They helped it to happen. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, is money really is the root of all evil? I mean, dang, like you really sold your soul to help this man do these things for money
Yeah, it's the
because
love
you
of
don't lose your
money.
job.
That's the root of
The
all
love of
evil.
money.
But yeah, that tour manager that's on there talking, he sits there and some of the times he's telling these stories, he's like chuckling. And I know he doesn't think it's funny. Like I'm not going to go ahead and say, "Oh, he's like that," but he's chuckling back thinking about it and just like thinking about how ridiculous it is, but I'm just like he admitted to being the one to forge the paperwork for him to marry Aaliyah. Now, the only
Oh,
thing that he said was in the beginning when Aaliyah was around, he, noticed them being really close and confronted R. Kelly and was like, yo, man, you not doing that, right? Like, you know? And R. Kelly was like, no, 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 I'm not doing that. And so he believed him until R. Kelly came and said, oh, he think Aaliyah might be pregnant. And I don't know, that whole part of the story goes missing. Because I want to know, was she pregnant? Did she end up having to have an abortion? Is that why y'all tried to go forge and get married? Like all of those things got lost in the documentary. But he did mention that and mentioned that he was the one that forged the documents to forge her age for them to get married in this little courthouse, or not even like in this hotel. And even his wife, his ex-wife that was married to him and has his children and stuff. When he married her, he didn't even he proposed. He just made a wedding for her, like controlled her entire life. Her family wasn't there. Like just whisked her away and had a whole wedding. Just and not like a whole wedding, just like they got married and that was it. And she didn't have no one there. And that's manipulative and controlling and just sick all around. And that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
anybody that's still supporting R. Kelly, honestly, it's like if it's one thing we're gonna boycott, it should be this. Because you listen to his music, you're putting money in his pocket to continue
Yeah,
to manipulate
right.
these girls. Okay?
But his with the whole thing that happened, his song list went up, like his numbers went up on iTunes and everyone, like people, it still went up. He's
There was a
still.
guy that I used to play tennis with
Mhm.
last year. And after the whole thing happened, I'm looking on my Apple Music and I'm follow him on Apple Music. And he's all I see in in Apple Music you see friends are listening to. Is this is like four different R. Kelly albums on the list
It's
and I'm like,
crazy,
are you
crazy.
serious right now? So you've made a point to go listen to R. Kelly music. Like and that kind of stuff is like you're part of the problem and I cannot get behind continuing to listen to his music. And especially when you really listen to his music, you hear that he's telling on himself. He's literally
Right.
talking about the disgusting things that he's doing. He was the one that wrote Age Ain't Nothing But a Number for Aaliyah.
And even that whole Pied Piper
That,
concept,
oh my
and
God.
it just all makes sense now. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like it all makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. And I think even just watching it, people watching it, because I mean the conversations, oh my gosh, the conversations have changed. It's so crazy that now in our 30s, in our late 30s, like we could actually like sit down and be like, wait, I I was I was one of those young girls, like
Mm-hmm.
females could know have realized just how they were in situations like that, not knowing that
Yeah.
it was wrong then, but no, seeing it through this documentary, seeing it through these girls' eyes, you're like, wait,
You wouldn't know it was wrong, right? It wasn't
you
your
didn't,
job to know
right,
it was wrong then. And
right,
those girls
right,
wouldn't know it was wrong either.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I'm in thinking that even a lot of men, I can imagine a lot of these older men are probably like shaking in their boots, like, oh my gosh, someone
Uh,
going to say something.
as
Who's
they
going to say
should.
something? They
As
should be.
they
Yeah,
should.
yeah.
And honestly, maybe to some degree, regular men who just, dated or had sex with younger girls may not have truly understood the depth of how wrong they are. Maybe they didn't,
Mm,
right? Because that it just seemed like the norm. Your friends are doing it, whatever. These girls are consenting. You know, they might
wow.
not
I
have
never, I never
realized.
thought about that.
They might not have realized. But for somebody like R. Kelly, who is very conscious of what's
Mm-hmm.
wrong, you set out. You're and not only it would be one thing if when he had just dropped out of high school and he was still in his 20s and doing it. He continues into his old age to
Right.
pursue younger girls that are even if they were over 18
Mm-hmm.
are it's people still look at you sideways. You know what I mean? And it's not just and now okay, maybe he's keeping it over 18 at this point, but the way that he's treating these girls is abusive.
Yeah.
Like you can imagine this one girl, the one girl that says she was in the house and her friend was in the house and they never saw each other. And they had to
That's
ask to go
crazy.
pee and they had to ask when they could eat and he would starve them as punishment.
And even the ones saying that they were forced into having threesomes and
Yeah.
doing this, and it's like, it's a little cult he has going on over there.
Yeah, definitely. And people have been
Yeah,
in the last couple of years they've been saying that, but we don't listen.
yeah.
And
We
I
don't.
and the other thing is, I don't even want to go any more into this. Ugh. The other thing is though is that I understand why prior to this, why black people would stand behind R. Kelly. I get it. Okay, back then, it looks like they're just trying to get this another black man. They're trying to hold him down,
Mhm.
whatever. I hear you, but it's like, but also it now that we know, and back then it was hard to convict him because the parents of the girl never wanted to admit that it was her. And from what I understand, I think she's still in this cult with him. The same little 14-year-old girl from back then that he peed on.
Mhm.
Like one of the girls that came out recently said she saw her. like,
Right, right.
and
Yeah,
so
father too. Yeah.
I can understand, when okay, the parents are saying it's not their daughter, but the justice system is trying to put him away. I can get that. I can get behind that. It's the same thing happened with O.J. Simpson back in the day. It's just like white man country and you're trying to protect the black man. But now that we know, right, that there are all these black women, our black girls are the ones being abused by this black man, I think it's time for us to like there has to be a line, you know? And that's definitely how I see it. Like there has to be a line where you decide who is more important at this point. And it's to me, it's just clear that he's guilty. I mean,
Yeah. I like though that it's these things are now we're now talking about the same thing like how we're now talking about mental illness and therapy and now we're talking about these things that, the sexual abuse that's happening right in front of our eyes. We're not even noticing it, with the cousins and the uncles and the like. It's we now can finally talk about it and that it is happening and that it's happening in ways that you don't even notice. That hug, like I don't want a church hug. I want a full on hug. Or let me give you a kiss on the cheek. Like no, it's like, wait, I don't want to hug you this way. I don't want to. I do not want a little church kiss on the cheek. I don't want it. Like, no, woman. I'm like, wait, bruh, like, I just like that the conversation has shifted and
yeah,
now people are realizing that I don't need to do this. I don't need to feel uncomfortable because you feel like you need to feel my breast on your chest when we're doing a hug. Like,
ugh, ugh. The thought of
listen,
that
in
make
my
it
age, as
disgusts me
I'm as
now.
I'm standing here as at 31 years old, it's happening. Like I don't even want to even go into that, but I don't want I don't want your kiss on the cheek. Just say good morning and move on. You know, um, the
Yeah. All
it's
right. Enough
different
of
things.
that.
But yeah,
Enough of
I,
it.
I I like that people are not talking about it, so it's cool.
Well, let's wrap this up. It's
And
about that
daughters, and
time.
now mothers are now talking to their daughters
Mm.
and their sons about these things. So yes, we're having the conversations that
Yeah,
need to
that's
be had
true.
now. Yeah.
All
Whew,
right. It's about that time. Um, any
it is
last
that
last
time.
comments about anything? What are you going to be doing
Um,
moving forward? The year of January 2019 is over. It's February.
what I'm gonna be doing moving forward.
Yeah, you got Valentine's Day plans, girl.
Oh, no, no Valentine's Day plans. No, no, nothing over here. Maybe I'll go grab some dinner, go to the movie on my own. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
Mm.
no, no plans.
Hmm.
No plans. What about you?
No, I don't have any plans, okay? For the rest of the year, I'm just over here trying to. Not even for the rest of the year. Well, the first part, not for the rest of the year. I'm back on keto. I'm trying to be Hashtag crop top shoddy by March for my 30th.
Nice. I'm with
And
it.
that's the goal right now. And then maybe I could become a
Awesome.
stripper and get some money to pay my tuition. Just maybe. So
Oh, well,
those are the immediate goals.
you're in the right place. I hear Atlanta is where it's at,
That's what
man.
I'm saying. I was telling one of my friends the other day, and he was like looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, no, for real. If I can get skinny, I can be a stripper, and I can
I'm
get this
just
money. I mean, easy. This is an age old story. Like, this is what girls do. They get money
it's
to
what
pay for
girls do,
school.
right?
Right. Right. Anyway,
Are you going to be doing more than throwing it back, or are you just going to be dancing?
I mean, when we get there, we'll see what happens.
Guys,
um,
please, this is just, we're just joking, listeners. Well,
anyway, you
we
just
are,
joking.
we are just joking. You are not going to see Shine on no pole.
Am I?
Like,
They not gonna see me because I'm gonna be in Atlanta.
oh my goodness. Yes, so look out
Ah,
for that when she becomes clocked up shorty by March.
yes, and
We may need to have her parents listen to this episode so they can see how they need to move. We strive for this when she gets smaller. So
my
that
parents.
yes.
I'm
Somebody
a
needs to check you.
I'm a grown ass woman. Okay,
Ooh.
let me stop. Listen.
Sonia, Dwight. Um, oh, another thing before we end, I know you probably started watching it, but I know it's my plan to watch Trigger Warnings,
Oh yeah.
with Killer Mike. I've been watching his interviews. I saw his interview on The Breakfast Club. That's Killer Mike, and then watches interviews on a couple other stations, and I'm definitely interested in watching Trigger Warnings. I just haven't gotten around to it. But what do you think of it so far, Jai?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes, and he's very funny. It's definitely interesting, and I think his goal, from what I've seen in the first 2 episodes, is to bring awareness to certain issues. Like, his first episode was him trying to live completely black, like only buy black owned, only use black products, whatever. And he
Mm-hmm.
basically kind of shed light on how hard that is, but how necessary it is to have your own business and things like that. And then the second one, he was talking about, he kind of was making a joke, but talking about everybody needs to get a trade instead of going towards traditional careers. Like, he's like, forget your dreams, like learn how to fix electricity and plumbing
Mm-hmm.
and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the deeper point, which I'm not going to give away, the jokes of it, but the deeper point made sense. So I think, yeah, I really admire him every time he interviews and speaks, even before this round of him promoting his show. I always admire the things that he talks about. He's always very pro the culture and, enhancing and uplifting your life and, getting ahead. So it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
something we should check out. Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing that
hmm
I've been listening. I've checked out the Meat Mill album. Have you gotten a chance to listen to that?
It's on my to-do list. I have not
Okay.
been listening to much music lately.
Okay.
It's on my to-do
Oh,
list. I've heard it's good.
yes. Check it out.
hmm
And there you go.
Yeah, I think everybody should take a listen to this 2 hour Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin conversation on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen clips of it.
On YouTube.
Yeah, it's on
No.
YouTube. Nikki Giovanni and James Baldwin, they're both, um, well, James Baldwin is deceased, but they were both
I'm looking it up right
black,
now.
black, black writers and activists. This video is 2 hours long. I've been watching it in pieces because I don't have 2 hours to straight, but basically they're talking about the black experience back in there. This conversation has happened in 1971. But
Okay,
when you
I
listen
see.
to it,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like they're talking about today. Nothing has
Wow,
changed. And it's
that's crazy.
very funny to hear them talk about stuff. And it's like, we're still going through the same stuff. They talk about police and whatever. And I'm like, it's 1971. But anyway, I've listened to about half of it at this point, and they have very interesting views on the black man and the black family and how that's working out. So I think it's a good listen.
Okay,
Yeah.
definitely gonna check it out. Definitely gonna check trigger warnings out.
Hmm.
And just go back a little bit, the reason why I mentioned the Meat Mill album in this same conversation for anyone that's listening is because Meek also raps on the experience of the system, the
Oh yeah.
crime,
Hmm.
growing up, how he grew up, and how it influenced a lot of his decisions. He also even touched on just being sent to jail by by his own people, which he talks about the judge. I guess she was a black woman,
Hmm.
and and just how she um is being used by the system to to control her own people. And so she just talks about a lot of that stuff in there. I don't know what his other album sounded like before. I know a friend was telling me it's this whole experience kind of changed um his thought process. So I guess maybe, his other albums did not sound like this one. But he talks a lot on the struggle and us as a people, and how, you know, a lot of these brothers can't help it, with what, this is what they know, this is what they see. It's in their faces every day. Um,
I just got
but
an idea
anyway,
for our next podcast episode because it is Black History Month.
oh, it is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, check out all that because I feel like how long have we been going so far? I don't even know.
It's time to wrap it up.
Um,
I said that like 10 minutes ago.
yeah, you did. Okay. All right, y'all. So yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Yes, I'm just gonna go back to doing some yoga, meditating, and aligning my chakras, and
Ooh, ooh.
we'll get more into that once I align them. I'll
You
tell you
probably
guys
need one
more
of them
about that.
yoni. You need one of them yoni crystals.
Let's. I picked me up a couple crystals actually
Okay,
recently,
okay.
and
Yeah, we can talk about that next time. 'Cause I have questions about this whole yoni thing.
I don't know what the
Star
yoni
tried to
crystal
sell
is,
me.
but
Star tried to sell me one the other day at the cookie shop, and I was just like, okay, yeah. She's like, it helps to no. See, we're doing it again. Anyways, so I'm done. If y'all want to check it out, go research it. What the yoni crystal is, and they sell it at the cookie shop. So go
oh,
check them
okay.
out.
All
Yeah.
right. Thanks for listening, guys. Follow us on
Thanks for
Instagram.
listening.
Share us with your friends.
Yeah.
At these two girls on Instagram.
Yep.
At these two girls pod on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Whatever. Yeah, you know what to do. Bye.
These two girls. Bye. Bye.